So path of least resistance and path of most allowance are the same path. Path of most allowance is a more positive way of saying it, but path of least resistance is a fine way of saying it too, because it lets you know that it is a path that has resistance. It always will have some resistance, and that your source, hear this, your source knows what your path of least resistance is. And that means your source knows where you're standing, what you're wanting, and what's in the way. You know what's in the way? Nothing other than your own beliefs, your own habits of thought. So your inner being knows how to guide you over and under and around and through this path of least resistance in order to help you to feel the fullness. And you know, you think that it's following the path all the way to the manifestation of what you want that you want. And that's fine. We want you to have all of those things that you want. But it's not following the path to get to the things that you want that you're really about. It's that path, that syncing up with who you really are, that being in the receptive mode so that the new idea can flow, that conscious recognition that you've received an idea, and that flood of good feeling that comes when you hook up with source and you receive with clarity a really good idea. And then that intuition, that feeling of inspiration, that feeling of moving yourself into a particular point or place in time, the words that are inspired to you as they come through you. All of these things are the deliciousness of life experience, and none of it was meant for you to just get it done. It's that sweet spot between having launched it and allowing yourself to turn it to the physical reality. That's what you are about here, you see. That's what we are all really about here. Recently, Esther was looking for something, a piece of paper. She wanted it, she needed it, she'd seen it recently. But she moves things from place to place, from city to city, from bag to bag, from place to place. And so she remembered it in a lot of different places. And right now, she couldn't find it. So she sort of fussed around with it for a little while, looking, and then finally had to give it up because there was something else that she needed to do right then. So she went off and did that thing that she needed to do. And when she came back, she had a thought about something else that she wanted. And when she went to get that other thing that she wanted, she found that piece of paper that she couldn't find earlier. You know, it happens to you all the time, doesn't it? Well, what that is that's her inner being guiding her through her path of least resistance. She could not find that thing she could not find. She believed she could not find it. She worried that she'd left it in another city. She worried that it had fluttered out of her bag and that she had lost it altogether. In other words, once she couldn't find it, she started creating, because thoughts matter a lot, she started creating a scenario where even though it was right there close by, even though her fingers had gone over it many times, she could not find it because she believed that she could not find it. She had created so much resistance on her own trail that she could not find it. But your inner being never stops guiding you over and under and around and through whatever needs to be. And we want you to understand, this is the most important thing that you will ever come to know about your process of deliberate creation. The resistance that is on your path, you've put every bit of it there. No one else has. Nothing is in your way except the resistance that you've put there. But the other thing that is really important to note is that it doesn't matter how much you've put there. It's only the active stuff that's still in the way. It's only the active beliefs, which means it's only the ones that you keep regurgitating and thinking about that are in your way. It's only those repeating beliefs that are keeping you sometimes from what you are wanting. So, have we convinced you, or did you already know or remember that you are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe? And that law of attraction is the manager of this universe? Law of attraction is managing those vibrations, and you can tell by the way you feel what you're doing in relationship with your own becoming. So you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and even though you've come into this personality, into this magnificent body, that larger part of who you were before you came still exists in that non-physical realm. So here you are, the leading edge creator in this scenario, sifting and sorting through the variety of life, knowing what you don't want, launching rockets about what you do want. And with every vibrational rocket that you launch, your inner being has an expanding experience. And then it's your work to find somehow, some way for you to get in sync with that expansion. But it is natural in the beginning that you would not be in sync with it, because it was just born, after all, out of new contrast. So it's normal that you wouldn't be quite up to speed with it. But it doesn't matter, because you can get up to speed with it. A few weeks ago, Esther and several people like you met in Seattle to get on a ship to go to Alaska. And they boarded the ship in Seattle, and the itinerary showed all of the lovely ports that they would stop at. And then they were going to disembark back in Seattle. And so they all got on board. So fun to put their things into their cabins. And wouldn't it have been interesting if the captain had said, "Welcome on board. We're glad you're here. If you will look at your itinerary, you will see that Seattle is where you get on, and it's also where you get off. So get off." You've completed this journey, as you can see if you will look at the beginning and the ending place. And of course, there would be a mutiny on the ship, wouldn't there? Because no one got on the ship just to get off of it. You get on for the experience along the way. And we want you to think of that sweet zone between your having launched a desire and where you are to be that journey. It's that journey, and it is as sweet as a cruise on a beautiful vessel in beautiful waters. In other words, that's the way it is supposed to feel to you. But if you stand where you are in an attitude of defensiveness because you're not manifested yet what you want, or if you are defending or justifying why you're here instead of somewhere else, then instead of looking forward and allowing yourself to tune into that frequency that will just carry you to new idea and new experience after new idea and new experience, in the looking in the opposite direction, you are feeling negative emotion because, and this is so important for you to know, your inner being, who matters so much to you in the way you feel, is only ever looking forward from where you stand to what you have already vibrationally become. Did you hear it? We don't think you heard it. We don't think you heard it the way we want you to hear it. Your inner being is never standing in your now and looking back. Never. Never defending why you're not yet where you want to be. Never justifying why something hasn't happened the way you want it to. Never looking back. That's why every time you're in that defensive or justifying or rationalizing mode, you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes really uncomfortable. And the reason is because in that moment, on that subject, you've parted ways from your power, from your clarity, from your wholeness, from your allness, from your worthiness, from your path, from your unfolding, from your becoming, from the eternal nature of who you are. We are eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. Nothing is off limit. It is our desire to awaken within you an understanding of how important you are to the bigger equation, and how perfect and right it is that you feel good every step of the way. If you've been listening to us for a while, and we know you have, we've been telling you that this creative process, which is what you came for the deliciousness of the creative process, for the joy of being the creator, the leading edge creator, the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, manifester creator, the actualizer, not just the dreamer, the bringing the dream to the full fruition so that you can get all of the juice out of it, so that every delicious aspect that you have found that you want along your physical trail can show itself to you in such precise and accurate unfolding that you stand in an attitude of utter worthiness, knowing the goodness that is you and all of the help that is flowing through you because of the perfection of that which is you. This is what we wish for you. We want you to get on that ride. We want you to begin to express yourself in that worthy